What's up, everyone? Coach Dan Palacios of Kinetic Training here. And today we've got a very special guest on Kinetic Konnections. That's Patric Nilsson of Zinzino out of Norway. And they have a tremendous product, which you've already seen me do some video on. It's an incredible omega-3 balance testing system that also comes with their balance oil, as well as some of their vitamin D and magnesium supplements here that help to balance your entire body out systemically to help manage various internal systems within your body. And so it's a great opportunity for you to get a better and deeper understanding of how your body manages all of its energy systems, all of its hormone systems, and ultimately manages blood flow and inflammation and recovery, right? Because that's what we really want to see is optimized state internally for recovery. So Patric, thank you so much for joining us all the way from Sweden today, correct?
Correct. I'm outside on an island outside of Stockholm, and thank you very much, Dan, for inviting me to this. And I'm looking forward to work together into the future. So we should go through a balance test result, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. So if for those who have actually seen the balance test video, it is a finger prick based system where you actually do have to draw a little bit of blood. It's not painful at all. It's not uncomfortable at all. Just have to make sure that you do it right so you get the right amount of blood out of there. And you have to make sure to remember to save your code. I messed that up myself, and so we had to redo that whole thing. But beyond all the user error on my end, I'm very excited because I got the opportunity to get my test results in and start looking through them. Now, there's a lot of really great information in there that I think Patric is going to do a great job of showing us, what all of that actually means and distilling it down into layman's terms so we know what to actually do about it. Because that's the most important thing about any of this stuff, right? Knowledge is power, but application is key, right? And then getting consistent with that application. And so I think what I've learned personally through the Zinzino system and just the study that I've done with what you guys provide in the information is that really is ultimately what it boils down to is, are you going to be consistent with applying the necessary tools that are available? Because the knowledge of it isn't necessarily going to do anything for you, right? Other than maybe give you some anxiety about all of your inadequacies. But the other side of it really is the knowledge that a lot of the different things that we do to stimulate recovery and optimize our body's function overall may or may not actually even be working. And that's really the key linchpin in all of this informational based testing, right? Is there's all these things that we do. What are they actually doing for us? And I think that the omega-3 balance test that you guys provides a key bit of insight on what's happening there and what we can actually do about it. So why don't we go through my actual test results and we can show everybody exactly how imbalanced I am.
Of course, let us do that. And I couldn't have said it better myself. Great explanation in a very simple way. You need to.
All right, so we've got a screen share going here of the actual Zinzino. The Zinzino website is up and running. Patric's going to take us through my actual test results based on the blood that was drawn. Now, interestingly enough, I had been taking the balance oil for a few weeks prior to this second test coming through when I had to retest and everything. So I can imagine that had I not been taking the balance oil, I might have actually been even further back in my progress. It typically takes anywhere from 3 to 6 to even 12 weeks for supplements of any kind to take any kind of effect in your system, correct? So especially if you're having issues with your omega-3 balance and your general sort of cellular osmolarity and the ability to absorb in your gut, all of those things. Now, I've been taking probiotics and prebiotics, things of that nature that are customized to me based on gut balance tests for quite some time. But I can imagine that this will have an even bigger impact on your ability to absorb and deliver nutrients.
For sure. Absolutely. So when you do the test, you get a code like this. This isn't your code, but I have your code and I'll paste it in here and then we go. So I change to that code instead and we are in. And you had answered a few questions to give them a little bit more info to their database. Nobody knows who you are. You're just a code, but you have received your result, and we looked at 6 different boxes. And why? It makes it easier and simpler for us to explain it. So I will go through this. I know you have knowledge since before, but I should talk like I would talk to a client of mine when I have done the test.
Absolutely, yeah. Break it down in the simplest format possible so that it's easy for everyone to understand.
Yep. So this one was, I think it was yellow. Yeah, but it's very close to red. So this is the omega-6 to 3 balance. That's what we normally typically talk about first time. And you have 9 times more arachidonic acid, AA, in your system compared to omega-3, EPA. So, and which means we will come to that, but green, yellow, red, like a traffic light. Green is go, yellow is stop if you can, and red is danger zone. Stop.
Right.
And look, take a closer look at this. So 9 times more omega-6. And we go to the next box, protection value. It's not about your immune function. It's more like everything related to fatty acids, because everything we do here is just we look at 11 different fatty acids, and some of them are high, some of them are low, and your system is like stressed or very, very focused on handling all these challenges in your body, in your system. So you don't have much of protection left. I would like to compare this to like rust protection on a car. So if you don't have any rust protection, it doesn't mean that your car is rusty, but it means that it can be. And
It's
it
vulnerable,
can,
right? It's vulnerable, yeah, of course.
yeah. Or like a soldier in a war. If the soldier has protection or not, it doesn't
Right.
mean that it's wounded. So the next step, omega-3 index. Of all your fatty acids in your body, you should have around 10% omega-3. So 10% of all your fatty acids should be omega-3. From between 8 to 12, so plus minus 2%. Under 4, it's no good at all. This is a recording, but you can Google it. It came out a study a year ago compared when it comes to like heart and heart function and all these challenges. They compared to be under 4% on this scale is equally like dangerous as being a smoker.
Yeah.
So you definitely want to be over 4% on this scale.
No, I think what's
soon as
interesting
possible.
about this in particular is, again, I do a lot to make sure that I'm optimizing my body in a lot of different ways, and one of the big ways is that I do take omegas from companies that I consider to be very reputable, right? And we won't name any names, but they seem to not be doing the trick, right? If we're going to get down to the nitty gritty of it and say that this is a test that's giving you concrete data as to what the efficacy of what you take and what you do with your body, at very least they aren't potent enough or strong enough to counteract whatever stressors my body is currently experiencing, which I'm a husband, a father of 2, I'm a personal trainer, I do a lot of other consultancy type work. I'm often burning the candle on both ends, and so at very least my body is burning up whatever resources it has available relatively quickly to protect myself and keep myself in balance. And so whatever I am taking had better be a lot more potent than what I currently am. So that's what I'm yielding from this information.
Absolutely, and that was very, very good explanation, and I like those words there. Mental strength, because so many people today have this imbalance. 99% of the people in the US, we have done 22,000 tests in the US so far. 99% is out of balance. So we need to do something about it. And when we look at this one, it's about what your brain really gets. So some of the omegas your brain really needs to work, and it can be related to stress. It can be related to like focus and concentration and memory. So you want to come back to the green zone here.
Right.
We don't talk about diseases. We don't talk about symptoms more or less, but many people who are stressed out is in the red zone on this one. So it can be explanation.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I'm
again,
from
if you're talking about being optimal, right, and
yeah.
what it is you want to be able to achieve on a daily basis, I would imagine that this has some level of impact on just your general function and how much acuity, mental acuity you feel like you have, how much focus you feel like you have. What does it feel like for you to not just get into the flow state, quote unquote, but also stay in it? If this is out of balance, I can't imagine what it's like for other people who are in the red zone, because I know for a fact that I get thrown off focus, I get distracted, I got a billion different things coming at me from different angles, and it's easy to lose track of all the information. What might it be like to be further along in the red zone, or even better, what might it be like to be in the green zone? If I do pretty well where I am here, what would it be like if I was optimized? And that's my key thought.
Absolutely. There is a big difference between being normal or be at optimal levels today.
Right.
So
Right, because that's the other thing here,
for
right?
sure.
At this point, the norm and what we're basing most of our, let's say, LabCorp and Quest scans and tests and the traditional blood testing that's being done, normal is being based on what everybody who's quote unquote healthy is like,
Yeah.
right? Not
Yeah.
necessarily what's optimal.
Exactly. And the average in the US, if we just talk about the balance, it's like 24, 25 to 1. So you
Yeah.
was better than normal today, but you don't want to be normal. You want
Right.
optimal
I want to be
balance.
extraordinary. Right. Exactly.
Absolutely. So this one is very interesting. And in many cases, I think this membrane fluidity discussion is the most important one, because your cells should be flexible enough to get the nutrients in and the waste products out. So the circulation should work in your system. But if it
Absolutely. Yeah.
doesn't, if the cells become like hard and rigged, your body has a very big challenge bringing nutrients in and the waste products out, and the circulation goes into like stagnation, and stagnation leads to inflammation if you don't do anything about it.
Yeah, it
So
continues to drive a feedback loop of inflammation and ultimately disease in the long term, right? Or
yeah.
at very least, inoptimal function, and things just aren't moving the way they're supposed to. Even if you look good or you can will yourself to feel good and perform at a high level, that doesn't necessarily
Mm.
mean that you're doing well. I mean, how many people do we see that seem to be in fantastic shape, but then have major health issues in their
Yeah,
even now as early as 40s, 50s, and 60s, right? So I think this is a key ticking time bomb that people need to actually start looking at.
absolutely. And here we can have so many different examples, but for examples in training, if you go to the gym a lot, if you're out in the golf course and you're having a pain in the shoulder, it can be related to stagnation. The cell membrane is way too much of omega-6, so it's hard and rigged and don't take any nutrients in. So you don't want to
And does it clear
experience that.
waste product out, correct?
Exactly. So it's problem. So what will happen, and we will look at another box here as well. But over time, when you add enough of the right omegas, when you maybe get down a little bit of the omega sixes, the cell become more soft and flexible again. So you go down, and into the yellow zone, into the green zone, and where you are there, everything like the index of omega-3 goes up, the balance gets better, your brain function getting better and better. Everything is connected.
And in your experience with, having taken the test at the beginning of this process, and then beginning the process of actually taking the omega balance oils, which are based on olive oil polyphenols in combination with high quality fish oils from Norway, correct?
Yeah, the story behind this, as you have mentioned before as well, is that they made a conclusion. It was a project in Trondheim, Norway, in a hospital, and they tested a lot of people, but they were shocked over how few of them was in a good balance. In Norway, the fish oil country. So
Right, right.
the brand is a Scandinavian brand because it's a Swedish company, but we have Norwegian owners, and our factory we bought a few years ago is in Norway as well.
Yeah.
So that's why we talk about Norway and Sweden and Scandinavia in general.
And so with having this sort of really potent tactical nuke, so to speak, to take, in your experience with what you've seen from the first test to the second test, let's say, what does that what does that time frame typically look like for you guys to see sufficient results, a sufficient shift from, say, where I am here into the yellow and green zone? How many bottles of this stuff would I have to suck down in order to get there?
One per day. No. So when we look at the cell membrane, it can take time. What we see is that your blood cells renew in like 120 days.
Right,
So
right, right.
4 or maybe 5 months later, you can prick your finger again, send it in, and when you get the result, you will see a fair result from where you was to where you are today,
Right, right.
or the day you see the result. So but the balance is one thing, and of course it's directly related to the levels of sixes and threes, but the cell membrane can take more time. I can come up with so many different examples, but my mother was a good example. She was, I don't know if it was like 20, I think it was 15 or something, and it took her 11 months to go from there into the green zone here.
Right,
So
right. Yeah, yeah.
it's
Well, I mean,
about,
it's definitely going to be subject to personal experience and wherever that body's genetics are, and what age, how
yeah,
responsive they are in a lot of different ways. But I think as long as you, with anybody, as long as you can see a continual shift of progress towards optimal, then there's no reason to stop whatever program you're currently doing if it's starting to make a difference. And I would tend to think that maybe your body will continue to perform better and better and better as you continue to shift towards optimal. It's not like you have to first be at balanced to start seeing the benefits, right? That's not the
no,
prerequisite. It's your body is going to start to continue to optimize in a lot of other ways as you sort of put the key in the hole, start turning and start opening that door. It's kind of ramping up its functions, right?
yeah, you're going into a momentum.
Yeah.
Cause and the reason is this is not a omega-3 product. It's a balanced product. So the polyphenols from the olives make the big difference. So this is a breakthrough in the health industry from Scandinavia. So what they came up with, where they when they found the polyphenols and tried them out, and it worked better than anything else, they realized this product works 10 times better than a normal omega-3. So
Right.
there is no reason you should start with this and after 5 months or 7 months or whatever do anything else,
Right.
because the only people who quit drinking Zinzino's balance oil is the people who quit on their own health. Because
Right. Cool.
if
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
10 times, if it's 10 times better than another omega-3 product, they have no reason to change.
And to be clear, the distinction between those olive oil polyphenols and the fish oil itself is actually that's where we're landing in this portion of the testing as well, right? Is that it's the polyphenols, if I understand it correctly, that help to create that more permeable cell layer, and then the fish oils can more effectively permeate because the polyphenols are there to begin with. Correct? That's the mindset behind it.
Yeah, the philosophy is like stop oxidation. Antioxidants does that, stop oxidation. So you're
Right.
not, we call it the
Rusting
rust
from the inside
protection
out.
for your body.
Yeah.
Exactly. So if we stop the rusting process, it will actually take care of or protect the fatty acids, so we can absorb everything
Right.
instead of a little bit of it. So and this one was interesting as well, arachidonic acid level, and no worries about being in the yellow zone here, because it's kind of low. But if you should be in the red zone, we could talk about like what you eat on a daily basis. Is it farmed fish? Is it chicken, turkey, whatever? A lot of vegetable oils and so on. But you don't have to worry about anything and on this. You can actually eat a little bit more of those things.
Yeah.
It won't hurt
I
you.
can stand to be a little bit more junky in my eating if I'd like to be.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend the fast foods though.
No, of course.
But yeah, I
Don't,
I hear you.
don't worry. I have my fair share of cheat meals. Don't worry.
Okay, I don't need to be the coach on that area. So download your balance test. I just want to show you, because we will scroll down and look on more stuff. But here, download your balance report. When I click here and open up this PDF, you see that this is info you have put in yourself, and then we go into a little bit of introduction. We see the content in this report, and then a little bit of repetition when it comes to the information. 95% of the people have not optimal balance, 99% in the US. But you can study, you can learn, you can repeat, get a little bit inspired, and then we take a look at the your numbers, and here we see the same thing we have talked about so far, and these we should look at as well. But down here, dietary advices based on the results. Yeah, mental strange, arachidonic acid, membrane, fluidity, and how to read the calculations. So it's very valuable. I haven't seen like a full, complete report.
Yeah. Well, I would say also
Before this one.
actionable in a simple way, right? That's for me one of the big keys here is that here's the information, but what do I do about it? And is it simple to do these things, right? Because
Yeah.
I've worked with a lot of different doctors who work in the dietary realm, and deal with really complex issues on things like allergies and things like various genetic issues with processing foods and what have you. And I would say that there's definitely still room for the specifics of that and what you need to do to get to the bottom of handling those issues. But that if this is a key master system, right, for allowing your body to properly absorb, properly utilize and deliver nutrients, that again, this could be a universal force multiplier for any of those other systems that start to address other really specific issues in the body, that you need to have cells that can absorb, you need to have cells that can protect themselves, and it all needs to be maintaining a certain level of balance so it's functioning optimally. So when you do engage in some kind of program like that, your body can actually see the results in a beneficial amount of time. So you're not getting frustrated with what happens when you you inevitably start doing something and you don't see any result from it over time because your body's just not getting the nutrients it needs. And the stress that you're inducing from things like exercise and what have you are actually potentially even causing even more stress to your body. I mean, I know people who have issues from going on a short jog, right? Things like runner's colitis and what have you, you know, running and, you know, jogging and getting your heart pumping and your blood moving and your body heated up and exposed to the sun and what have you are supposed to have great health benefits. But then why does that person experience such terrible issues from doing it? Well, maybe there's something going on here that we're missing. So I'm really excited to start implementing this and putting it to work in my daily life.
Good. Very good information you shared there. And here, if you see that you have too much or too little omega-9, you can read a little bit more about, and we as coaches in this case can help even more. So this give you a little bit of info around it, and then we can go deeper into it. So back to the results and to this ones. So saturated fats, it's not actually a problem in your case because your value compared to the target value deviation, 27%, you could go down a little bit there, but I wouldn't worry about that too much. Omega-9, you're very good at your omega-9, a little bit over, and almost nothing.
I don't go too crazy with eating very many nuts and things like that. It's just not one of my things. I could stand to eat more salmon. My wife will be happy to hear that.
Yeah, and then we come into the discussion about like farmed fish and wild caught fish, but we should talk a little bit more about that later. But in this case as well, pretty good levels of the 6s, and this is actually low, which is kind of impressing. but you know what you eat. I can clearly see that. But when we go down here, this is the biggest challenge because your body can't create this on itself. You need to add it from your food. Right. So ALA, you get it from seeds and nuts and avocados, and you could go up.
Or in this case, from Zinzino balance oil.
Yeah, I should come to that. But when we look at these numbers, the worst number is the EPA, because your target value is over 4. So you can actually, like, I don't know, 4-5x this to have a chance to get.
So what you're saying is I could be performing 4 times as well as I currently do.
Yeah, in this case. And that will of course lead to great things in different areas of your life as well. But EPA, it's very low. DPA and DHA as well, and you can triple, maybe 4 times.
And now what I can say definitely is that when this test was taken and I had already started studying what you guys, this is the second test I took, and so I had already kind of been in the process of starting to drink the balance oil on a daily basis, but still very stressed in a very transitory state of life, with having taken on some new endeavors and doing a lot of different things that were keeping me up late, waking me up early, and just keeping me going mentally all day, where eating is either happening in a spotty way where I'm waiting way too long to eat and then eating way too much when I do eat, or just kind of like grazing on small snacky kind of stuff that doesn't really give you as much. I don't go crazy with the stuff that I eat that is either less than ideal. I might just not focus on getting the right balance of foods when I'm in that place. And so now having having moved forward past that point and having taken the second test that's yielding these results, and starting the process of taking the balance oil plus the vitamin D and magnesium on a daily basis, that I'm definitely seeing tremendous results in my mental acuity, and my energy levels, in my ability to focus, in my my overall physical performance. Like, how do I perform in my workouts? How do I recover from my workouts? All of those things are starting to move again back to a place that I know to be optimal for my performance, and then some, right? So if I'm performing this well now, I can't imagine what it'll be like in a few months when I've already been taking the magnesium, the vitamin D, and the fish oil, the balance oil, on a daily basis for 5-6 months on end.
Yeah, perfect. And it was like a week or two after you started the oil, right? You took this test.
Yeah, it was not long enough to really produce a major shift in results. So
And the last thing I want to mention, like from ALA to EPA, DPA, DHA, if you eat a lot of seeds and nuts and probably avocados as well, you can't get your body to convert it. You need actually marine sources, those three, to get this to work. And we have a vegan version as well. So it's olive oils and algae and bits of
very
seaweed.
cool.
So
interesting.
So it works. It works very, very good. So this is what we do. What we can do is, when your second test is ready, we can add it here. We can look at it separately, or we can compare them side by side.
Fantastic.
So this is it. We can click around on the links and so on, get more info. But I really like this model of creating a report, because it's so informative. I haven't seen such a complete report before.
No, and well, a lot of it is just information, knowing all that I know within the field of health, wellness, fitness, nutrition, to have the specificity of this information, right? And what are the key markers we're looking for, and then what are the key resolutions to bringing those markers back to a place of balance. If it's as simple as making a few dietary adjustments to foods I basically already eat, just eating a little bit more of some and a little bit less of others, or eliminating some altogether, and then as easy as just taking the balance oil and the magnesium and vitamin D on a daily basis, then shoot, what do you have to lose? Not a whole lot. In fact, you only have to gain.
Yeah, exactly. Because of course it's hard to find enough wild-caught fish. So some people may succeed by doing that, but it's a lot of work to find the right food, because farmed fish, it's more omega-6 than omega-3. So you need to eat like wild-caught fish every day to get this to work.
Right. Well, you know what they say: give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach him to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. But give him some Zinzino balance oil, and he'll be balanced for the rest of his life.
Definitely, exactly. And the pricing, I think it's incredible. The typical price for a balanced test is $165, but what we do instead is we sell it for $99, and we give them the client a free bottle of oil, and then you are on a subscribe and save plan, and you're paying $39 per month to keep taking the oil. You can cancel anytime, but you don't want to cancel, because you will get another test for free after 4 months, or in the 5th month you will get the next test for free if you stay with us. So you get a real great chance to feel the difference, experience the difference. And what can you expect from this? If it's like nails or hair or skin, the skin renew itself in 30 days or so it can go faster than, for example, your gut health or your muscle function or your focus. So you need to give it time, but some things you can feel a difference in 1 or 2 or 3 months. Some things you need to wait 6 months or 9 months or 12 months. Definitely when we talk about the cell membrane fluidity, you need to give that time. But when you are in balance, wow,
That's
it's
something I consistently preach to a lot of people is that all of this stuff takes consistency. Nothing is going to work if you do it one day and then skip it 3 days, and that's never going to go well. As far
not
as
in the gym either.
your daily implementation of any strategy that's going to improve your life, right? And so
Yeah.
if you want to see the results, then you have to be disciplined. You have to be self-accountable, and ultimately you have to have the right information and the right plan of action to implement. And I think that's where the balance test starts. I think you guys have a great program and a very succinct way of explaining it, a clear way of explaining it to just about anyone who wants to just log in, grab their information, and start using it. You'll be able to do that pretty quickly and efficiently, and that's what I'm all about. So if it's as easy as, like I said, reading this information and then starting to at least take the oil on a daily basis, then that's a small price to pay, considering what all the things we pay for that we don't need to be putting in our bodies. So I really appreciate you taking the time to do this today, Patrick. This has been a tremendously informational and great educational learning experience for me, and I'm really excited to continue taking the balance oil as well as the rest of the other supplements and see my next test, because this is going to be I think quite a revolutionary next step in the health and wellness industry across the board.
Yeah, for sure. And thank you for inviting me. I looking forward so much to follow you in this journey and look at the next test together and compare them. It will be exciting news in a few months.
Well, I'm excited to give people the entire audience out there a look at my insides. that'll be fun for them too. I think it's important, right?
Perfect.
Because what
Yeah.
people end up doing is they idealize and sort of idolize the people that they see who are knowledgeable people in the industry, or famous people in the industry, and you've got to realize that they don't have all of their stuff together either, right? And that there's always room for improvement. That's what Live Kinetically is all about, right? What's the next best thing I can do to start improving on a daily basis? And for me, Zinzino is going to be part of that plan. So really appreciate you, Patrick. Thank you all again for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this informational session with Patric Nilsson from Zinzino. Make sure to go check out zinzino.com, get yourself a balance test, and as well as your balance oil. And we'll see you out there next time, y'all. Live kinetically.